Week 1, all 22, incredibly excited for this. This is the part where Chewy makes us all smarter by using that football brain of his. We've got 5 plays to break down for the Packers win over the Lions. Before we get to the plays, Chew, what were your overall impressions of this win for the Pack?
I thought they played great. We finally have a defense that can be dominant. We can get to the quarterback with 4, which makes a huge difference when they can drop 7 into coverage. And with a D coordinator like Halfley, I like where this team is at right now.
All right, let's start play number 1. It's something we talked about here on the show on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. So here is the touchdown pass from Jordan Love to Tucker Kraft, which I think a lot of fans were big fans of, but you say you've got some issues as well with the way that Detroit played this.
Well, I got some issues, and I'll talk a little more about Tucker Kraft in the tight version, but this is just it's simple box poach, and it's more of a defensive thing than an offensive thing. So what I want you to look at, go back to the Y game. I want you to look at the free safety, okay? In box poach, the safety's responsibilities are inside, right? Their job is to not let anyone inside. So just watch this free safety. He is not supposed to let Golden inside, which he's done. And he's playing in a phone booth. And that he is the one really responsible, not the near safety, for covering or disrupting Tucker Kraft.
This safety right here is what we're talking about.
That safety right there.
Golden's down here.
So he makes the play. Okay, now you can go to the tight. It's a great throw. At the end of the day, it's a great throw. But let me talk you through the tight end position, okay? Because this is what they're taught. All right, Tucker Kraft here releases inside, which I would not advise him to do. Because what you want to do is release outside. Even if that end jumps outside, you can still slip them to the inside. You want to get that near safety as wide as possible to keep you away from the free safety, okay? So the first thing is I would have outside released this just to get a width to get 32 to widen, right? And it moves you away from 31. So if 31 does his job instead of sitting there in a phone booth, Jordan Love probably wouldn't have made this throw, okay? And when we talk about looking off safeties, okay, Gabe, in this instance, you hear that term all the time. Jordan Love is not looking off the near safety. He's trying to move the safety away from him. But this guy does it already because he just stands there and does nothing. That's the fear. That's why you want Tucker Kraft to outside release, to create more room, to keep him away from the free safety. At the end of the day, a great throw by Jordan Love, and that's why they scored. Do you see what I'm saying, though?
I see what you're saying, yeah, with where Branch is, and you wanted to widen him out. I mean, Branch, you can kind of barely see at the bottom of the screen.
Sure.
But then you can kind of see him more there. All right, so that's play.
When we talk about this, Gabe, real quick, when we talk about this, even though the play worked out, coaches are going to coach perfection, knowing there's a chance you may not get there. But what I've said here is what he should be being coached after the game in their meeting room. That's what you're shooting for, perfection on every play.
All right, we've got one more offensive play we're going to get to, Chew. But again, the defense was the star of the game. So 3 of the 5 plays we have from the defense. And Lucas Van Ness is somebody that we have been hard on, especially here in all 22. Like last year, we showed the plays where he was getting blocked one-on-one by a tight end. Not great. Again, Micah Parsons being on the field helps. But here is the play where LVN gets half of a sack, does a great job on the guard. Parsons getting pressure, and so is Rashawn Gary as that pocket just collapses here around Jared Goff.
And we talked about this last year with Van Ness being on the edge. He really, in his 2 years here, has not developed a pass rush other than the bull rush. Now, this is something he did at Iowa, and this is one of the reasons I think Goody drafted him. This is what he does. He's a leverage guy. He's a strong guy, and I think he may have found a home here. You know, he is a relentless. You know, he's a high energy player. You know, but this might be his forte. He did it at Iowa, and this is what we talk about when the best teams in the league, Gabe, can create pressure with 4. When you're talking Baltimore, when you're talking Philadelphia. They all create pressure with 4. And looks like what this is going to be. You're at such an advantage because you don't have to blitz. You can drop them all into coverage. You can spy one if you're going to play man. It's just such an advantage. And this is just a great play by Van Ness. Does having Micah Parsons there help? Probably. But finally, if we can get this kind of production out of Lucas Van Ness this season, we're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I want to point out here, Chu, and just kind of your thoughts. So you see Micah on the end. Like, obviously, he beats Penei Sewell, and he forces the step up of Goff right into the arms of Van Ness. Gary ends up cleaning up the sack, so they end up splitting the sack. But, again, when we talk about, when we say getting rush with 4, it's not just about one guy. It's about how they all work in concert with each other, and that's how, to me, this sack was created.
Well, it's great when you can get pressure from inside and outside. I mean, that's 3/4 of the battle. And that's typically, even if it's a D lineman in that position, really all you have is a bull rush. And what they do is try to collapse the pocket so the outside guys can get there. But when you've got both, that's gravy.
More on the defense in just a little bit. This was the big play of the game for the Packers. Romeo Doubs, a career-long 48-yard reception on this play. What are we seeing here? Romeo at the bottom of the screen running a deep post.
The only thing here from a formation standpoint, and I don't know why they do it. I mean, obviously they try to disguise things in a game, but I would have Romeo wider. Okay, you want to stretch the field, and you want to stay away from that safety who I don't know why he buzzes up and takes the crossing route, but great vision by Jordan. Great catch by Doubs, and I think one of the most exciting thing is to see Doubs playing with energy. He's playing, obviously he's playing for a contract next year, but this is nice to see. This is something we haven't seen, and playing receiver is an exciting position, and I think you want to show it from time to time, and it's just good because they're going to need him. They're going to need him if they want to get to where they want to be at the end of the season. So it's just good to see from Romeo. I'm happy for him. And just a great play all around.
So you mentioned the depth. He kind of. So do you not want to see him get the depth on the route? Because I
want to see him wider, Gabe. I want to see him outside the numbers.
But he starts inside, but you can see right around the 50. He's clearly outside the numbers, so he kind of gets that depth on the route. Do you think that's what he's being coached, or where you kind of start tight, then you can kind of drift out to kind of get back? Because I know you said you wanted to avoid it, but you can clearly see. Again, as I play it here, you can see he gets outside the numbers right around midfield.
Here's my question, because I thought it was a coverage thing, but typically when it's a robber coverage, because the Packers run it too. When they call it a robber coverage, that safety comes up immediately, which he doesn't. So my guess is he didn't feel a threat from Doubs because he was tight and felt the corner could handle it. Because I don't know. I mean, that linebacker's got the crossing route covered.
Yeah.
And what I really think, Gabe, with Detroit, I think this is a product of a new defensive coordinator. They're just not disciplined. Because if that guy is back there, right, you really got nothing.
No, because you can see the safety he's talking about here. Watch Golden come. Here he comes. And that's what opens up the entire thing.
Yeah, there's nothing. So it's just great awareness by Doubs. My only thing would be pre-snap, so you can maybe get a read on that defender earlier if you're wider. That would be my only thing.
Back to the defense, big play that helped keep Detroit off the scoreboard even more late in the second half. This, of course, the interception from Evan Williams. Going back to that robber coverage that you were talking about earlier, Chu.
Yep. So right now it's just looking like some form of cover 3 or cover 1, actually, man underneath. But this game is the effect of Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons comes inside on Penei Sewell. Sewell kind of flushes him down. But if you watch, this is a 3-step drop. And this is a rhythm throw, but Goff is off rhythm, throws it too late. Great read by Williams. And that's a big play, because if they score a touchdown there, it's kind of a different game. Mm-hmm. So huge play in the game. Watch Parsons here. My only thing with Parsons, and this could be a product that he hasn't been around long enough, right? You got to be careful going inside, okay, Gabe? Because now they got Jaden Daniels this week, who's a much better athlete than Goff. You take that inside. The feeling is this with coaches, what they would say. I don't have a problem with you doing that, but you better win. Because if you don't lose and Jaden Daniels gets out of that pocket, it's a different ballgame. So I don't know if he hasn't been here long enough or they gave him the option, like I said, to take that inside side. But you got to be careful there.
Yeah. And then the final play, I think this is the Micah Parsons effect once again for the Green Bay Packers. This is around the goal line, Chew. Maybe it's best if we start this because it's a run play, if we just start with the end zone camera. So, again, you've got Wooden here, who is the closest man to the quarterback pre-snap. And somehow, on the goal line, this man does not get blocked. How on earth does the man closest to the play, to the quarterback, not get blocked?
Well, what I think, if you watch the guard right away, so this is just a simple call. So when you going to running plays like this, they kind of give you the discretion, the offensive line coach, of how you want to block it. So this is clearly a cross block where the guard is responsible because the angle is better for the guard to block Parsons, right? Penny Sewell, I just think his head has been spinning all day because he played absolutely terrible, was just had a brain fart because he's clear. This is just, they call this an ed block or a TED block where it essentially means tackle down. And I just think it's just a brain fart. I mean, clearly it's a cross block here. He's supposed to block Wooden, and tough day for Penei Sewell, which, we kind of like to see. Mark, you talk about the Micah Parsons effect, Gabe. There's your Micah Parsons effect.
Yeah, because, I mean, he just kind of throws his right hand on Micah, even though he's being double-teamed by the tight end and the guard, and then he just tries to go block Walker, and by that time, it's just way too late. It's hilarious to see one of the best right tackles just not knowing what to do because of Micah Parsons, and I think that's what's exciting about this.
Yeah, if he does block him, there is a hole. I mean, it's probably a 3-yard pickup, maybe a 4-yard pickup, but didn't quite work out that way.
All right, that's week 1. We'll be back. It's a short week. So next week, we'll have Packers, Commanders, 5 plays that we're going to be going over.